Thanks for staying with us. I'm Akshay Tandon. COVID-19 has had an immediate impact on public health and the global economy. It has also created chaos in the world of entertainment, with summer lineups being reshuffled and the future of many of our favorite shows in doubt this fall. For more, I'm joined by a couple of experts on the topic tonight. I have Mike Hale. He is the TV critic for the New York Times, and Michael Schneider. He is a senior editor with Variety in Los Angeles. Good evening to both of you, Mike and Michael, and appreciate you joining us on CTV Newschannel.
Evening. Thanks.
Michael, make us start with you. COVID-19 has changed the way we live lives, and we know entertainment has been hit hard as well. So how have TV networks had to scramble to fill out their summer programming? Mike.
Well, the summer has been kind of a transitional period. You know, TV, unlike so many other art forms, doesn't have the requirement of live participation. So while theater, music, even movies have been severely affected by COVID-19, TV has been less so. But we have seen changes, shows moving earlier to fill in for shows that couldn't be produced, and also shows moving later because I think the networks are trying to stretch out their inventory in anticipation of problems because they can't actively produce shows now. But the real test is going to be this fall. Several networks like the CW and Fox have preemptively done schedules with shows, pre-existing shows that they picked up from digital networks and from foreign networks. But other networks like ABC and CBS are boldly proceeding with the promise that their hit shows are going to have new episodes this fall. And I don't think we really know yet whether that's going to be true. We'll just have to see what happens over the next few months.
That's right. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the next few months, whether there'll be a second wave of COVID-19 or not. Fingers crossed. Okay, Michael, how has summer programming changed according to you? For example, Love Island usually films in Fiji. Did it just get knocked off the schedule?
Yeah, there's a number of shows that actually won't be on this summer because there's no way to film them. So The Bachelorette is another huge summer show that unfortunately couldn't be taped this spring because of COVID-19. You have other shows that are also very popular this summer. You mentioned Love Island. Another show, Big Brother, is a show that generally is on the air around this time. They're still talking about maybe producing some sort of season. They're already starting to plan putting together a house and maybe down the line doing that. But you know, some of the shows that were pre-taped, so a lot of the game shows that were taped prior to March are able to still go on the air. So you have shows like Holy Moly and To Tell the Truth. A lot of the game shows that are especially on the ABC network in the U.S. were able to continue. But, you know, otherwise, The Bachelorette, So You Think You Can Dance, another big dance competition show that airs during the summer, also not going to air. So, yeah, this has really shuffled things quite a bit.
Let me take a cue from what you were saying and go to Mike for that. Mike, what about Big Brother, like we were just hearing? The show that sees a group of American strangers locked in a house in a summer staple. Are we going to see that this year at all?
Well, the answer to that is maybe. There was actually news just today that they are supposedly starting construction, whatever that means, on the lot, on the house in Los Angeles for Big Brother. What's interesting, I think, about that is, and this is very representative of the issues of COVID-19, is that they can start building a set, doing pre-production for the show, but they need the clearance, the buy-in of a lot of other stakeholders. They need the craft guilds to okay this. They need the Actors Guild to okay this. They haven't even been able to start, or as far as we know, they haven't announced any casting for it. So there are just incredible number of questions surrounding it.
I know.
So we don't know. The answer is we don't know.
Everything is literally up in the air when we speak. Okay, Michael, let's talk about fall, because you were discussing summer is somehow being tackled, but the fall lineup. Survivor usually films in Fiji, where COVID-19 has been managed pretty effectively. Having said that, production hasn't started yet. Should networks be concerned?
They should be, and I think they've been a little too optimistic. Several of the networks announced fall schedules, business as usual, as if these shows were going to be in production by August. That's looking very questionable at this point. Like Mike mentioned, the guilds still have to sign off on a lot of this. You have actors, you have crew that not necessarily are ready to go back to a situation like this. So there's a lot of questions still up in the air on whether or not the networks will be able to pull off a schedule by fall. And so far, there aren't a lot of contingency plans. Some networks are better prepared than others to pivot if suddenly these shows aren't available. But fall is looking very questionable at the moment for the traditional broadcast networks. That's where the streaming services, the premium cable services that have backlogs of programs are going to look very good in the fall because they're not going to be impacted the way the broadcast networks are going to be.
Okay, Mike, I want to ask you, what is it like being a TV critic during the pandemic?
Well, for the last 10 years, my job has consisted of being at home alone watching TV. So TV critics were really kind of ideally positioned for the COVID-19 pandemic. That said, there were some changes. The workload, if anything, became a little more intense because TV has been the only medium that has continued much along its old lines. And if anything, there's been a kind of more pressure to talk about TV because people don't have other things to entertain themselves with. So everyone's looking to TV, everyone's looking to streaming to fit in that space.
Okay, interesting. Michael, what is the status of some of our other favorite shows, like Young Sheldon, Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah, those are the big questions. This Is Us, a number of these hit shows that are currently scheduled to premiere in the fall. But once again, we just don't know for sure when they're going to be able to get back up into production. Ideally, these shows need to be back in production right about now, honestly, or late July, early August, in order to hit that September, October premiere date. It's looking very doubtful right now. As you know, we're seeing a rise in cases of COVID-19 in the United States, in California and Los Angeles in particular. And as cases continue to rise, it's going to be really difficult to get these sets back open in time. I'm really suspect that we're going to be able to see any of those shows this fall.
Okay, so we'll have to wait and see what really happens up next, because these are such uncertain times affecting every walk of life. But thank you for joining us this evening. Interesting conversation. Mike Hale with the New York Times and Michael Schneider with Variety. Thanks so much.